Hey, this is Robert Jean here in Oklahoma under my patio. And, I received an email the other day of someone who received a session. And, of course, I did the session. And one of the things that I noticed and how the mind works and how the inner programming keeps us in alignment with the unconscious system. Of course, I did a 1-2 hour session, changed a lot of memories. But one of the things that is very common in the world of changing memories is when you change a memory, what will happen is when you neurologically change it, that means you go inside the memory. We're not talking about giving you an alternative memory. Actually, you go to the original memory and how the brain encoded it. You dissipate the emotions. Not only the emotions we dissipate, but we also change the visualization. That means what it is you see inside your mind. Now, as you change this, there's a wisdom that occurs in the unconscious, which means you keep the wisdom of the experience, but now you have a better experience. And understanding that memories are, it's like a program in your computer. Your brain, your computer will use it until you upgrade the program or change the memory, which is very powerful. But there is also another thing is what we do in eutaptics, FasterEFT training system, is that what we do is we go to the memory and we rewrite the memory. We change the memory, the actual memory, and where you go back and you have a new, what we would call an imprint, which is an imprint is an unconscious operating system that operates very quickly beyond your consciousness. And so as we change the imprint, and we just change many memories. And one of the things that some types of thinkers are very, very detailed in their thinking process. I worked with so many people like this, and that is, you go and you actually neurologically start creating shifts in the brain. But there is what I call the operating unconscious system. Basically, if you have a mode of operation that nothing works for me, my life sucks, and I'm always angry and pissed off, each of these are different programs. And so for some people, no matter how many memories you change, they can still produce nothing works for me, or they can still produce anger, or they still produce loneliness, because inside of the individual, there's what you call the how-to. Now this is kind of a tricky way to get in and find it, and oftentimes you can't do it in one single session. Some people, you can. It just depends on how good they are inside their mind, because I always said in my trainings, I said, listen guys, you're gonna have several types of brains that come into your sessions. There's the type of brain that doesn't think about their problems at all. They go back and look at it, they don't rehearse it, they go to therapies, they don't read books, they don't join groups who have this problem. This individual will be a lot easier to change. But if you have another individual who thinks a lot about their problem, who joins groups about their problem, who studies about the problem, learn about how other people have their problem, and spend lots of years in therapy, this individual has a larger neural network inside their brain, which basically means it takes more work to change it. Even though if you understand the program and how we do whatever we do, there's an internal process. That means internally we do something. Either you visualize something, then you say something, you feel something, or you feel something, you say something, you see it. So there's an internal process. Some of this may not make any sense to you, but to understand that there has to be a decision made from the individual, which means, they can come and get sessions and you can change memories, but if they're still operating from my life sucks, no matter how good life is, they're gonna find something that sucks. So that means they know how to produce this. And I remember working with an individual, and we're changing a lot of memories. And towards the end of the session, we're getting ready to close, all of a sudden she made herself feel bad that nothing works for her, even though we just changed a bunch of memories. And I said, hold on a second, you just created this feeling, what did you do? Because inside of us, we have what you call the programming and the programs. Now, in order to dissipate the program, you got to change the programming, which means you may have been years of being indoctrinated, conditioned to feel bad by your mother. You're guilty and they didn't like you, or you find partners who supply this. So there's a lot of work for some people. That's one of the reasons why the level 1 that we have now is how to work on yourself and how to change yourself. And some of the biggest and the most important things about working on yourself is changing what you do inside yourself, which means take ownership of your programming, because there's a lot of people who've been all kinds of therapies. And if you pay for the online level course and you actually don't do the process and you actually don't change your programming inside your head and you don't do the happy journal and you don't change what you're thinking, and when you're in your world and you got these little triggers pop up, it won't work for you, because what happens is you're working to stay in alignment with your whole life system. In order to change a life system, first you got to change past memories. Secondly, you got to change what you do today and how you respond today. Thirdly, you start focusing on what you do want and stop rehearsing what you didn't want and you kept doing. This is so fine of a detail that most people don't even know what they're doing inside themselves. Becoming aware of your inner programming is the key. Now, you can't learn that just by reading a book or doing anything but other than knowing how the brain works, knowing how your neurology works. And of course, if somebody goes in and they tap down the feelings of a memory, yet they still got the bad picture or the bad memory inside the head still will control you. So you've got to change the whole system. And here's the emotional insanity. We go change memories and we give them new imprints and say, go practice the new imprints, the new memory. And what they will do is they'll go back and try to find the other one. And they can regenerate and recreate a new memory of an old one. So they can take an old memory, take other feelings from somewhere else and put it in this memory and recreate it. Now they got two. We call this emotional insanity. You want a better life, but you keep going back and looking at your crappy life and rehearsing what you don't want. So I know this is kind of big. It's simple in my world because I understand how the brain works and understand the plasticity of the mind and noticing the power of belief, which is basically universal pattern creation. That means you can create anything and do anything by merely practicing in your mind first. We talk about memories. Memories are affirmations. When you go back and you watch a bad memory, that's an affirmation. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it. Good memories are the same way. And that's without even saying a word. Feelings, feeling bad and practicing feeling bad is an affirmation. So what are you affirming and what would you rather have? Because see, here is the part. We have a tendency to act like our brain is an entity by itself or unconscious. And the reason why you act that way is because you don't know how it works. And you don't even know how to drive it, so it drives you. And the only way you learn how to drive it is come somewhere, someone who knows what he's talking about. Because they can change memories that fast. We can change programming by dismantling the foundation of what you use to create a belief. This is neuroplasticity. Become a neuroplastician. And that means learn how to change your mind. Now again, practicing bad things is not bad unless you don't like feeling bad. For a lot of people, feeling bad gives them an identity, keeps them in alignment with the family system, keeps you connected to mother or father, whoever else that does it. Now, if you're sick and tired of that, then you've got to do something different. And that is take ownership of what you think, change how you feel, and change what you do within you. This is the key. Now, I just received an email that said, Robert, I want to come see you. I want to change my life. I'm tired of this mess. And, you know, of course, I do live level 1 training. I got one coming up in Australia. I got one coming up in Greece. But let me give you my honest and best opinion, okay? If you're a newbie and you're coming to live level 1, most likely you're going to bring a lot of your emotional stuff. That means your ability to catch what we're training will probably be lessened because you're too much in your emotional head. My personal opinion, you're my friend. I'm going to tell you, friend, take the online level 1 first. Why? 1, you can watch it, you can stop, go back and rewatch it again. That means you're going to capture more understandings. And also do your exercises and practice. Then when you come to live, listen, I'll give you $1,000 off just to come to a live seminar after you do the online level 1. Then when you come to live level 1, you will probably still have emotional stuff, but it'll be a lot less. You've already cleaned up a lot of your emotional intensity. You'll capture more, and not only that, you're going to discover that your best friend is there too. You're going to start creating new friendships, and you're going to start helping each other grow and emotionally mature in eutaptics FasterEFT training system. And that's what you want. You want a better life, and the only way to get something better is do something better. That means if you keep rehearsing the bad stuff, you keep doing the same things over and over again. There's a thinking that we have, is a syndrome. It's called the dirty water syndrome. Basically, when you come to a live training, you get some changes, you get some shifts, or you come to a session, and then you change some stuff in your head, but in your home, in your environment, you still have the triggers. So one of two things are going to happen. One, you're going to shift back and being triggered and wonder why you're acting and feeling bad again, because you didn't know how to change your emotional environment, how you respond to the environment. So there's a lot of growing in here. And there's a weirdness we call the soul man syndrome. It's a made up name. And basically what it is, they come to a training, they get a session, and they get some really good changes, and then they go back home and they get sucked into their emotional environment, and then they start to feel bad. They start to go back to what they used to do, and then they blame the practitioner or the system, not realizing that they are fully responsible. My system is showing you how to change you, giving you control over you. We're just a guide. We're the one with a map, and you're the one who's driving your own life. And that's what we want to do. Give you personal power where you can change it. And let me remind you, there's nothing permanent. Because if you want something bad enough, no matter how bad that is, you can still generate it if you work hard enough. And we know that. There's a logic to this system. Pick what you want. Move towards it. And I'm here to help you. So learn how to love yourself, like yourself, be kind to yourself within yourself. Because what you do up here, you do out there. This is Robert Jean, here in Oklahoma. I want you to have the best life possible. I can help you. Just keep practicing what you'd rather have instead of what you don't. Peace.